What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Below Average Brothers podcast. It is Bryson, Ross, and Jax once again with another episode. We're going to get right into it with the college football weekend and a big game for a few of our guys here, Jax and Ross. OSU goes into Austin and I guess does what they do best because they feel like they beat Texas every single time they go down to Austin. 32-24, Texas allows another comeback. What did y'all think watching this game?
You go ahead, Ross.
Watching it, it was a tale of two halves, in my opinion. The first half, I'm sitting on my couch, just PO'd pretty much, disappointed in Spencer Sanders like normal, in the offense, the play calling. But, second half, we turned it around and that defense gets going. And I was one happy kid after that. That defense, like we've said along, that's what makes OSU good. That's what gets us going. And we got that pick six, which was huge. And, Texas just looked awful in the second half like they did last week against OU. And that was really the difference.
Yeah, definitely. Just going to piggyback off that. That defense makes that team go for sure. It looked like it's about to get out of hand. Texas down in the red zone, scores 17-3. They punched it in. That probably puts the nail in the coffin. But Jason Taylor with a big pick six. That defense just makes plays. They make plays when they need to be made. And then, I think 4 straight 3-and-outs to end the game and an interception. So, and a big 4th and 3 stop, big time plays. And Spencer Sanders picked it up towards the end. He made the game-winning plays.
Yeah.
Had a good throw to Brennan Presley, ran it in. That's promising. He started out terrible, obviously. But, like I've said, if we can get any consistent QB play, they're legit. I seen a stat, I think Spencer Sanders, since 2019, leads the country in turnovers, as an individual player. That's just horrid. If he can take care of the ball, Poke's for me legit.
Yeah, I think the only mishap that Sanders really had was probably the 2-point conversion play that would have tied it. But in the second half, obviously.
Yeah, in the second half.
But I think other than that, he played really well. OSU, if they can run the football, it's going to be tough. I think them and OU, both of their hardest matchup is going to be against each other. I think OU has Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor, and then OSU to finish out the year, I think is all they've got left. And I don't see OSU having a very difficult opponent going. I'm hoping and praying that both of those teams are undefeated going into Bedlam. That might be a top 5 matchup and a chance to go to the college football playoff in that game alone.
Yeah.
I wish we had a segment called I Told You So, and we might make a segment right now called I Told You So. Iowa is terrible at the game of football, as we all called. At home, and you get beat by Purdue.
Yeah, and a single man by the name of David Bell, I believe, puts up over 250. That's ridiculous. And that secondary is supposed to be legit, and I've been saying it all year, that defense is legit, and that man alone humiliated that defense. Humiliated them. It was bad. It was rough to watch. Like we've said, that Iowa offense, you can't win. And then if the defense is going to let a single man put up 250 on you, yeah, they ain't for real. We called it, though. We all said it last week.
Yeah, like Jack said, that style of offense, you can't win games consistently, I don't think. And it showed this week. But, yeah, y'all called it. Y'all definitely called it.
This is going to be an I Told You So come about December. Caleb Williams is winning the Heisman Trophy.
I like it. I like it. There's no Heisman front runner right now, really. I think the Heisman front runner is Matt Corral, or it's Bryce Young. I still believe it. I think it's Bryce Young's got the best odds still, but
yeah, I think
really looked great.
I think I seen some odds from Vegas today. It had Bryce Young at 1, Matt Corral at 2, Kenneth Walker, the running back out of Michigan State, at 3. Caleb Williams is either at 4 or 5, and I can't remember the other guy, but none of those guys are really breakout. On the broadcast of OU-TCU, we were talking about it in the pregame meeting. Kirk Herbstreit was talking about Caleb Williams winning the Heisman Trophy because normally by this time in the year, you have a Kyler Murray, a Devontae Smith, somebody that's just broke out, and for sure that dude's legit. That dude has a really good chance to win the Heisman Trophy. That hasn't happened yet. If Alabama is still undefeated, it's probably Bryce Young. But that loss to Texas A&M really hurts. Georgia, the best team in the country to a lot of people, doesn't have that guy,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. I mean,
best player.
If you give it to anyone on Georgia, I mean, you just got to give it to that whole defense. I mean,
Yeah, you
you
can't
give it to
a
that
single
defense.
player.
You can't give it to a single guy. That's the main.
Definitely.
I mean, that's the best group of guys in football.
Yeah, and like Bryce was hitting on, like no one's separated themselves from the pack, and I think most people would agree that just in this game and a half that we've seen of Caleb Williams,
He's got
the
9
best player in
touchdowns,
college
I think.
football. He's the best player in college football, hands down, easily. I mean, if I'm a NFL GM right now, I'm trying to do everything I can to get that top pick in that 2023 NFL draft or whatever it is, because he's going to be a
Please,
stud.
Pittsburgh.
He's going to be legit, and I think Bryce and Ross would also agree. I mean, he's the best player in college football right now.
Oh, 100%. 100% agree.
100. 100.
And, Marvin Mims this year and really the first half of last year, Spencer Rattler finally got to him the second half of last year. But with Caleb Williams at quarterback, Marvin Mims is making a run at winning the Bednar or the Biletnikoff.
Hazel played good last week too.
Another wide receiver that impressed me that hasn't really got a lot of targets.
Michael
I felt
Woods.
like I would say Jaden Hazelwood.
Yeah,
he had
for
3
sure.
tutters in the game the other day, right? Correct me.
Yeah,
I'm
something
wrong.
like that.
I
think for sure too.
You know who Jaden Hazelwood reminds me of? And they made a play that was really alike. Jaden Hazelwood reminds me a lot of DeAndre Hopkins. Big body, great hands, not the fastest, but he's able. I mean, if you throw it to him, the dude's catching.
He's gonna catch it. Yeah,
sure. They remind me of big, lanky body, great hands. I think they're a lot alike. Not that Jaden Hazelwood is DeAndre Hopkins, because D-Hop might be the best receiver in the league, but when I watch their games, that's what I see. But yeah, come whenever, normally middle December when they do the Heisman Trophy, come back here. And we called Caleb Williams was winning the Heisman Trophy.
With half a year, I don't think it's ever been done. That's going to be crazy.
With what, 6 games played?
Yeah. But he still may lead in everything by then.
I mean, he's got 9 touchdowns through 6 quarters.
And last week against TCU, he didn't miss a throw. Like I think his only incompletions were really drops. Like they had a drop in the end zone and then another drop. I remember. I mean, he didn't miss a throw. Every throw was on the money.
Yeah, drops or batted passes, I think, were about all of his. He didn't have missed throws. That wasn't.
No, they were all there.
That wasn't a thing. And if it was a missed throw, it's probably a pass interference.
Yeah.
Before we go to the next one, I just want to ask y'all, like, what do y'all think is going to happen to Spencer? Where does he go? Does he stay? Does he go to the league? What happens? Like, I really want to know what y'all think.
If he tries to go to the league, it's probably a bad decision. I mean, I don't see him going in the 3rd or 4th round. I see him. I know he's got a lot of potential, probably, but air quotes potential. But I just don't see, after what he's put on tape for the last year and a half, I just don't see how an NFL GM can go with faith and pick him in the first couple rounds, in the first couple days of the draft.
I can't see him getting picked at all. I mean, like, I was talking about it with my dad the other day. If you lose the job in college, do you deserve to go to the NFL? Like, I just think it'd be a stupid decision if he goes to the league. And like Bryce said, he hasn't proved anything. He hasn't proved anything so far. I mean, he's a terrible decision maker. He's not very mobile. He's not very good in the pocket. He's only really good when you roll him out, and that just doesn't work in the NFL. So I think he needs to go somewhere else and establish himself and actually do good somewhere else before he declares.
Well, in all the things you just said, you didn't criticize his arm, because he has.
He's got a great arm. He's got a great arm.
He's got a fantastic arm, but he just is a terrible decision maker. Like, all the things you said are exactly what is wrong with his game. What do you think, Ross? What do you think he should do?
I think a lot of people, in today's age, of college football, can't stick it out and don't want to compete. But, for him, it's like we said, Caleb Williams is probably going to win the Heisman. So, he has no chance of getting that job back. So I think he goes. And, a funny Facebook meme I've been seeing is him in a Tulsa uniform. How awesome would that be?
What the crazy thing is you look at all of the last 3 OU quarterbacks, they're guys, not Jalen Hurts, he won a national championship at Alabama, but Kyler and Baker, those are 2 guys that failed, at a big time program. So it's not saying it can't be done. Kyler did not look good that year at Texas A&M, and Baker, not that he didn't look great, but he just lost his job due to injury, never really got the chance to play again. So he transferred. So it's not saying that Spencer can't go somewhere next year and light it up. But as OU's quarterback, his days are done. And Caleb Williams is going to be the starting quarterback until he is drafted probably number 1 overall in 2023 or whenever it is that he is able to get drafted. That's all we've got for the review. Wasn't a whole lot going on this week. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into our college football rankings. As always, 1 through 6. We start at 6 and go to 1. Ross, what you got? Number 6.
Number 6, I got Roll Tide, Alabama Crimson Tide. I got them at 6 just because, they had that bad loss against A&M. I think at the end of the year, they'll be in the SEC championship and have a game decision, that lets them maybe get in the playoff, if they can beat Georgia, but we'll see then. But right now I got them at 6.
Number 5.
At number 5, I got the Ohio State Buckeyes. Only reason I got them above Alabama is just the fact that they lost to a better team. Oregon, has that bad loss against Stanford, I believe, but I still think they're better than A&M. And CJ Stroud has looked a lot better in previous weeks compared to, the first couple. But we'll see if they can keep on rolling in the Big Ten.
Number 4.
Number 4, it's going to be a homer pick. I got the Pokes.
Do what?
Come on, man. I got the Pokes. I mean, undefeated, that defense, man. I think it's second, and it's close to being to that Georgia defense, in my opinion. I think, I think Mike Gundy does such a good job. Disrespectful. I think Mike Gundy does such a good job.
Do what?
And me and Jackson have said this forever. That Mike Gundy does such a good job that he can turn 2 or 3 star commits to just studs. I mean, Malcolm Rodriguez, the leader of that defense, the dude's an animal. I mean, an animal. And I think the defense are the reason they're at number 4.
What? Like you
basically.
Okay. Number 3.
Number 3, I got Cincinnati. I got Cincy just because they're undefeated and the
same song that we've been saying for the last
exactly.
4
I mean, there's not
weeks.
much more to say. We've said it for
they're
the past
undefeated.
so
They beat
long.
Notre Dame. If they keep winning,
they laid the pipe against
they did
UCF this weekend. I mean, it was embarrassing. I think it was like 14-52 or something. I mean, they're just looking better and better every week. Desmond Ridder, great quarterback, projected, to go in this NFL's draft. But yeah, I got Cincy at 3.
Number 2.
At 2, I sadly got the Sooners.
All right.
I mean, like I said last week, I think it really just depended who started this past week, and it was Caleb. And like we just said, he looked great. I mean, the dude looks like a stud. And I think he just turned that offense around and got him going. And Jaden Hazelwood getting more targets, Marvin Mims, all of them. I got him at 2.
All righty, and number 1.
At number 1, I got Go Dogs. I got the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, we've been saying it for the past couple of weeks. Defense is one of the best we've ever seen, if not the best we've ever seen. Stetson Bennett, I mean, he had a great game this past weekend, I thought, against the Kentucky Wildcats, throwing some good deep balls. But it's the defense at the end of the day. Defense wins championships in football. And they got the best, if not the best of all time.
All righty, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and go do mine. I've got one thing to say about my list. If you're not undefeated, you're not on it. Plain and simple.
Fair enough.
That's it. So at number 6, I've got Go Sparty, Michigan State.
What?
All I've seen from Michigan State is Kenneth Walker. I watched Michigan State, and I know Miami's not a very good football team, but I watched Michigan State play Miami, and I think Kenneth Walker had close to 2 bills. Like, the dude just runs over everyone. His name should not be Kenneth Walker. It should be Kenneth Runner.
Yeah.
He has been phenomenal. He's a Heisman Trophy favorite. He's right up there in the top 5 in Heisman odds. So I just got MSU. Like I said, if you're not undefeated, you're not on my list. Number 5, sadly, very sadly, I've got the Pokes. of Oklahoma State. Like Ross said, they've got a good defense. He went a little far with the Georgia comparison, but they do have a good defense, especially for the Big 12. That's a really good Big 12 defense. And, to give Ross some credit there, and me and Jax talked about this the other day, to have a good defense like that in the Big 12 is something special because the Big 12 is where the best offenses in the country reside. You don't get very many defensive recruits that want to go play in the Big 12, especially at corner, because they're going to get burnt all day long by the likes of Texas, Oklahoma, even Oklahoma State. A lot of times it's a track meet. Like Ross said, it's a track meet. So for Oklahoma State to be that good on defense in the Big 12 is a good feat. So I'll give Ross some credit there. Number 4, I've got the Michigan Wolverines. Go Big Blue. Once again, Michigan and Michigan State, they're going to play each other. They are going to play Ohio State. Both of these teams will not be anywhere near the playoff. If I had to put it right now, I think Ohio State's probably going to beat both of them. Ohio State's probably going to be right there in the conversation. But as I said at the top, be undefeated, and you'll get on my list. Number 3, I've got the Cincinnati Bearcats. Not much to say. Same song, different verse. Same thing from the last 4 weeks. Keep winning, and they'll be right here as long as they keep winning. Number 2, I've got the Georgia Bulldogs. Just like last week, Georgia's defense is still great. Offense is still good, but they're still not as good as that Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, Caleb Williams, and the Oklahoma Sooners, my number 1 team. This week, Jax, last week when I said it, he said all we've seen was a half of football, and I was calling them the number 1 team. But, man, this week made me think even more that they're capable of playing with the big dogs because Caleb Williams is just, like we said earlier, he's just a freak. He's gonna will this team to wins. We obviously seen the last week, the second half was a close game, and he just got it done. TCU wasn't really a close game, but I think with that kind of quarterback, you get in a close game, and he's going to be the guy that wills you to a win. He's going to be the guy that wills you to a win. So we're going to go ahead and go over to Jax's top 6. So you got a 6, Jax.
Coming in at 6, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, a bad loss to A&M. I mean, we've all said that, but at the end of the day, they're still a good football team led by Nick Saban. So, I mean, you can never count Nick Saban out.
Yep, number 5.
Coming in at 5, I have the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I mean, like Ross said, and I would almost agree with them on the second to that. I definitely think they're a second to that Georgia defense. I mean, they just play so sound. If you watch them, they play their keys to a perfection. Very rarely get beat. Very rarely allow the big play. And when they do, I mean, they allowed one big play last week, and they chased them down. They didn't allow. I mean, they just don't allow the big play really. That's big time in the Big 12 too. Big plays happen all the time. So that's definitely why I have them at 5.
Completely agree. Number 4.
Coming in at number 4, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes.
There they are. I was wondering when we were gonna do that.
We've said CJ Stroud, but how about Travion Henderson? I mean, I think he's top 5 back in the country, and he's a freshman. That kid's a freshman, and he's doing this. So I mean, CJ Stroud continues to play good, and they still have Travion Henderson in that backfield. Playmakers like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. I mean, that's still a very tough team.
Number 3.
I got the Cincinnati Bearcats, just a repeat.
Not much to say there.
Not much to say. I mean, as long as they keep winning.
Number 2.
Like we said. Number 2, I mean, it was a close one, but I still went ahead and put the Sooners at 2. I mean, the Sooners have looked great on offense. They still have looked great, but the question mark for me, big time, is the defense. They allow a lot of yards. They allowed a lot of points. And they allowed a lot of yards and points against TCU, who's not a very good offensive team, missing their best player being Zach Evans, and that's why I just have them at 2. But I mean, it was a close one.
But moving up closer to that
moving
one
up,
spot, huh?
Yeah, they are for sure.
How about that? Number 1,
the Georgia Bulldogs.
No dogs.
And like I said, not as convincing to me. I mean, I still think that defense is very good, but I mean, when are they going to play an offense like led by Will Levis? And I mean, who's Kentucky guy? I mean, I know Wandale Robinson's a dog, but one dude can't do it. When are they going to play an offense? And they haven't had to score. So they're still the number one team. The defense is still great regardless. But it's definitely they're inching. OU's inching on them for me.
I completely agree with you there. I completely agree with you. I'm trying to look at their schedule right now, and they really don't have much left. They play against Florida, or at home against Florida, at home against Missouri. Then they go to Rocky Top and play Tennessee, at
That could
home
be.
against Charleston Southern, and then at Georgia Tech. So
I think the
much
Tennessee one may be
Interesting.
maybe
yeah,
a trap game.
I think that may be a trap game setting up. Yeah, because we've seen that Tennessee crowd's wild. We've seen that last week.
Insanity.
They are some
Insanity.
crazy mofos. But
And that ended up in a $250,000 fine to the school.
yeah, it did. That's just bonehead decisions by those students, definitely. But I think that environment's wild for sure. And Tennessee always has talent. They always get one of the best recruiting classes. So I think that could definitely be the one.
Yeah, that's what we got for college. We're going to go quickly into the NFL. There really wasn't a whole lot intriguing from the NFL weekend. We just got 3 different games that kind of interested us. The first one was, a team that I know for sure I had as in my top 5 in the power rankings. The Chargers got routed by the Ravens. I get cross-country flight early game, playing in the noon window after making a cross-country flight all the way to Baltimore, but 34-6, they got hounded by the Ravens, just made look silly. And as much as I hate to say it, but man, Lamar Jackson has looked good this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I seen the other day that he's producing better stats this year than he did his MVP season, which is insanity. When they're rolling, when that offense is rolling, it's extremely hard to stop, definitely, because they're coming at you with everything: RPOs, runs, passing. If Lamar can, hit the target, if Hollywood can beat you deep, they're dangerous for sure. And they whooped them this week, and you can see how dangerous Lamar and that team could be.
Yeah, definitely. Just piggybacking on Ross, that offense is very good. And how about the defense? The Chargers look to be one of the best offenses in the NFL, if not the best. Justin Herbert's played near perfect up until now. And then they just kind of laid a turd on that one. They just didn't really come out.
Yeah, I don't think they got off the bus.
Yeah, kudos to the Ravens defense though, for sure. There's never a bye, or there's never an off week in the NFL. You got to come every week prepared. So kudos to the Ravens.
100%. Our unanimous number 1 team in our power rankings was Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And a lot of people had, especially before Nick Chubb went out. I know Nick Chubb going out was a big deal to this game, but 37-14, I still thought it'd be closer than that. That was a butt whipping by the Cardinals, and it really wasn't close. Was it 20-0 right off the bat?
Yeah, it was bad.
Baker Mayfield turns it over twice, throws an interception, and then fumbles. And if Arizona scores touchdowns instead of kicks field goals, that's 28-0.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse than what it was. Baker, it just seems like to me he's never going to get over that hump, man. Got strip sacked a few times, threw a bad pick. That interception, like in that first half, that was terrible. It's a terrible throw. It was a terrible throw. And when are the Browns going to get over the hump? We've been saying it for the last 2 years. They just have so much weapons. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When's Baker going to get over the hump? That's the question I'm asking. When's Baker going to get over the hump?
How long does it take before Odell gets traded?
Yeah, seriously.
Odell's looked bad to me. He's looked bad.
And they targeted him some this week, but he had the late drop, like the drop big. A big drop at the end. It could have made it a game if he catches that and they score right there. It would have kind of been still a prayer, but
yeah, I agree.
The Cards defense though, that front is ridiculous. They get after you week after week. They get after you.
Yeah, Jack's hit it on the head there. I know Baker, dealing with whatever his injury is, I don't know if it's an excuse. I don't know if it's real. And I know Kareem Hunt went down, like Bryce said, with the Nick Chubb going out. But man, the Cards look good. I know early, I know it was the second touchdown. I'm not for sure if it's first quarter or second quarter, but DeAndre Hopkins catches it at like the 7 or 8 yard line. And I'm thinking, that's 2-3 yard gain. he busts like 2 tackles and gets in the end zone. I'm like, how's this dude doing this? You know, you don't have to rely on the big plays when you got guys that can just turn 2 yards into a touchdown. But they definitely look impressive, and like Jack said, that defense is legit.
Yeah, and that was really just piss poor tackling by the Browns.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
awful.
it was just a terrible display of trying to play the game of football. But our next game was probably the game of the day, honestly. Cowboys at Patriots, and Trayvon Diggs again.
Yeah,
Diggs Island.
again, baby. Diggs Island. I mean, not even. Yeah, I mean, he's just so great at ball anticipation. Me and Bryson hit it on it. If they can get him more aggressive, I think he'd be the best safety in the league because he's just a ball hawk. He has great ball. He always knows where the ball is. He can always make a play on the ball. I mean, he's just not very physical. That's why I think they have him out at DB. But the Cowboys didn't even play very good. Two turnovers in the red zone, actually, both by Dak.
Dak
the
reached for
reach
the goal
over,
line.
the reach over, the punch out, the pick. I mean, just a bad throw on the pick, a few drop touchdowns, and they still pulled it out. And, Bill Belichick's always going to have a great game plan. So, but
It's a big win.
I think Dallas is very good. Yeah, I think
Also, the
Dallas is very
stones
good.
of Mac Jones to go deep down the field after throwing that pick six. Throw going right back
Yeah.
at Diggs.
And that was not
Yeah.
on Diggs. That was on the safety.
Yeah, that was
I think Jack
KZ.
said
What's
that the
KZ
other day in our
doing?
group chat. That was awful. That was awful. But I mean, I seen a question. I think it was on TikTok actually, and I want to ask y'all. It's like Diggs is one of those guys. He's gonna go for the ball, and he might. It's like it reminds me a lot of Zach Sanchez at OU. The dude would either you looked at the screen, the dude either pick six or he got absolute toasted.
Yeah.
And I mean, Diggs isn't getting toasted, but it's like, would you rather have a lockdown corner, say like Jair Alexander, or even like Ramsey for LA, or would you rather have someone like Diggs who will make a play on the ball, but might get targeted more and might get caught on more? What would y'all rather have?
I'd definitely go with the making the play on the ball, just because I mean you're gonna give your offense a chance, and that's what it's about.
Definitely.
Getting your defense off the field. I mean, like we said, I mean, he didn't even get his defense off the field right there. He just picked that baby off and returned it the distance.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I definitely go with that option for sure.
More aggressive. Yeah, more aggressive.
Yeah, definitely more aggressive. I like that. I like that play style.
I completely agree. With that being said, the NFL is over, and for the first time this year, we're going to talk about the NBA.
Let's
next.
get it.
Yeah.
Welcome back. And like I said in the last segment, we are going to talk about the NBA for the first time this year. The NBA is probably all three of our favorite sport over. We love college football. We love the NFL, but I'm a basketball player. My brother's a basketball player. Jackson loves basketball, played a little hoop, hooped a little, just loves basketball. We all three love basketball. So we're going to get into another one of those games we played, a lot like that game we played in our very first episode. We're going to play boom or bust with a few of the rookies that got drafted in this year's draft. So we're going to start off with the first overall pick, Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. What do you got, Jax? Boom or bust?
I'm going to go boom. And we talked this in the pregame. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year just because his situation. And right now, I think he's the most complete player in the draft. But I don't think he has the highest ceiling. Oddly enough, I don't think he has the highest ceiling. I mean, he's a big guard, good at passing, but I don't think he's elite in any of the three categories, that being passing, scoring, and defense. But I still think he's going to be a boom. I just don't think he has the highest ceiling.
I agree. I think Cade's going to be a lot like what Jack said, Rookie of the Year, just for the simple fact that Detroit doesn't really have many other options. He's going to get any shot he wants, He's going to have the green light from pretty much anywhere, whenever he wants it. So definitely boom, probably not the highest ceiling. If he ever gets out of Detroit, he might. But a life in Detroit's a lot like a life being drafted to the Cleveland Browns. It's just kind of the graveyard of basketball right now. Ross, as a Pokes fan, what do you got?
Yeah, like you said, as a Pokes fan, I got to say boom. But to be honest, I wasn't as impressed as I thought I would be this past year. A thing that really I think he needs to improve on more than anything is his leadership skills. The
Yeah.
dude wasn't even a leader on his Pokes team. Isaac Likely was. He seems very nonchalant and almost seems like he doesn't want to be out there at times. And I think you got to bring it all 82 games in the NBA, and you got to be a leader. You got to be a young leader on that Pistons team. I think like Jack said, he's a big guard. The dude can get, where he wants to go in the paint, wherever, mid-range, pull-ups, whatever. But I think he needs to work on his ball handling, and I think he needs to work on his leadership skills.
I agree completely. Next up, we got the number 2 overall pick of the Houston Rockets, Jalen Green. Went the unconventional route, went to the G League Ignite, which I think is going to be something that a lot of these prospects are going to start doing, get paid. It's not the limelight of going to Kentucky or Duke or Carolina, but man, you get paid and it obviously works. I mean, he went number 2 overall. So what do you think about Jalen Green, Ross?
Jalen Green, I think he's got the highest ceiling in this draft. I think he's the best scorer all around. The dude's a bucket getter. The dude can get buckets.
And he got buckets in the preseason and the summer league. He proved that he can get buckets.
Yeah, I love him, man. I think I've loved him since, he was playing on the Vegas Elite with Jay Gupp, his teammate right now. Dude, I've been keeping up with that dude since almost like I did with LaMelo. The dude's been a bucket since high school. I mean, simple as that. The dude gets buckets. If it was the 1980s, 1990s, he might not have get drafted because he doesn't play much defense, but he can score whenever he wants. And I think Houston will be interesting this year. I think he can I think he'll be the main scorer. They got him.
Kevin Porter, he came out last year.
Yeah, Kevin Porter's bucket.
Yeah, Kevin Porter, he's a bucket.
And if they keep John Wall, John Wall's still there.
I think is Christian Wood still there too, maybe.
Christian Wood. I think they can be interesting, with John Wall leading them as a veteran. But I love Jalen Green, man. Dude's just straight up bucket getter.
Completely agree. Jalen Green, like Ross said, highest ceiling. I think the dude has a chance to be, that former Rocket James Harden, that kind of score, just doesn't play much defense, but you want Fitty, he'll give you a Fitty piece. I mean, the dude gets buckets. And he's not small, he's not big, but man, he's long. Shoot it from anywhere.
Pretty
get
stroke.
To the hole. Yeah, he'll definitely be a boom in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely just go off the 2 of you. I mean, uber athletic guard, can score at all 3 levels. I mean, he's a pretty good passer too. I do think he'll struggle early on, though. I think he's going to struggle early on just because I think he's going to be the main scorer for Houston.
I think he's going to struggle to find his place.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm
John Wall and Kevin Porter. He might struggle to try and find where he fits in the offense.
Yeah, I think he'll struggle early on, but I definitely think mid-season he'll get into the groove and he'll definitely make a strong case for Rookie of the Year.
But
like Ross said,
he doesn't get the opportunity of Cade, being the only option. He's got to find his way in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he's got the highest ceiling, like Ross said, for sure.
Before we go to the next guy, did y'all see that catch he made the other day off Christian Wood's pass?
Yeah.
About a 16 vertical.
It was insane.
Yeah, I
was like, dang.
The next one is the darling of the NCAA tournament from the Gonzaga Bulldogs, drafted 5th overall by the Magic, Jalen Suggs. I'll start here. I've got bust. I've got Jalen Suggs as a bust. He's not a great shooter. He's a pretty good passer. He's going to be too small to play defense, I think, in the NBA. I just don't think he's going to be strong enough to guard a lot of these guys in the NBA. He went to the Magic. That's a lot like going to Detroit. It's not a very good place to be right now. I just don't think he lacks enough skill in enough areas to be a great player. Not that he can't be a good player, but when we're talking boom bust here, we're talking about upper level good to great type of players. Guys that are going to have 10, 15-year-long careers playing great high-level basketball. And I don't think that's Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, I'll take this one. I totally agree with Bry. Had a great tournament until, the finals getting beat by Baylor. But I just don't see him being the number 1 guard on that team. They're pretty guard heavy. Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac can play. I just don't think he'll get the time he needs, and I don't think he has the personnel around him to have success. You know, they got Mo Bamba. I just don't think they're going to be a very good team, but I don't think he'll get a lot of shots and a lot of looks. He doesn't shoot it well. He's small, like Bryce said. He's just not. I don't think he's an NBA caliber player.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna piggyback to you. I'm gonna go bust, but I do think, like Bryce was saying, this boom or bust game. It's definitely like Boom being upper echelon, having a good, like being dominant for about 5 to 10 years in the league, and I think he's gonna be a good NBA player just because he brings in a tremendous amount of hustle, and he's a great athlete, and he's a big time team player. Like he just is. He's diving for all the loose balls. He's flying around on defense. But I just don't think he's got what it takes to be an elite player. He
when we're
doesn't
talking
have,
when you're talking Boom, you're thinking best player on your
Yeah.
team for a long
Yeah.
time.
yeah. I think he's gonna be a fan favorite and a good solid NBA player, but I just don't think he's gonna be great.
And the thing about Jalen Suggs is he's one of those guys that you're never gonna have a bad PR moment from him. He's just a good dude.
It seems like
you know,
he's always got
Yeah.
a smile on his face.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
he's
for
always
sure.
got a smile on his face. He's just one of those guys you want in your locker room. That doesn't make you a great basketball player, but
Yeah.
I think, like I said, he's gonna have a good career. But this game is talking about, the greats,
definitely. I
being
definitely- yeah, I
up
agree
there,
with you on
great player.
Mhm.
Next is a guy that when Oklahoma City drafted him, my jaw hit the floor, and I honestly didn't even know who the guy was. And I watch a lot of basketball. Josh Giddey of the Thunder, the 6th overall pick in the draft. Ross, I know you have a lot to say about your man, Josh
Yeah.
Giddey.
I love this dude. I mean, the dude's awesome. Like another great PR person. The dude's always got a smile on his face. The dude makes the best TikToks. I don't know if y'all seen the dude's TikToks.
I
They're
see every
awesome.
single
see
one
him.
of them.
They're
Yeah,
awesome.
boss.
They're
They are
awesome.
boss.
The dude's awesome. But a lot of people. I mean, there was a graphic going out there. His weakness was literally basketball.
Yes, I seen
Basically.
that.
the
Come
weakness
draft
was
time,
basketball.
it showed
But-
shooting, passing, defense, IQ, all weakness. Like, what is the dude good at?
Yeah, I know, but watching him in a little bit of
TikTok.
preseason and summer league, I know he got hurt in the summer league, but I think he's going to be a boom. I think he's going to be a great overseas player like there's been in the past. The dude's awesome. The dude, I mean, he's just big. He just seems like,
Yeah.
I think he can get the shot off anytime he wants. He's just big, and I think he, playing in Australia, not the best teams, I know, but I think the Thunder does a great job developing players. They're known for that. And I think Sam Presti and that front office will get him right. And I think he'll be a great NBA player.
I do. I think he's a bust. I'm gonna go bust because of all of those things we said about weaknesses. But if I was to say, some good things about him, he is, I think, probably going to be a perfect fit alongside SGA.
Yeah.
I think he's going to fit really well at his 2 or 3. It's just a guy, when you see weaknesses all across the board, it's hard not to say bust. I am ready to see him play. I hadn't heard of him before the draft really, and him going 6 overall really intrigued me, and I'm ready to see, living in Oklahoma, I'm not a Thunder fan, but we get a lot of Thunder games here in our market, and I am extremely ready to see Josh Giddey and see what he can do for the Thunder and kind of pull them out of the cellar they've been in.
Yeah. I mean, Giddey's my guy. Giddy up, baby. Giddy up. I got him as a bone.
If y'all guys didn't see that, I don't know if y'all are y'all can check us out on YouTube. Jack's rocking the Tractor Supply beanie. Dude's looking awesome right now. Go check us out on
yeah.
YouTube. Just wanted to plug that real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
He just rode a horse after he said giddy
Oh
up.
yeah.
Giddy up.
Giddy up, baby. Giddy up. I think we're gonna be hearing a lot of that from the Oklahoma City commentators. I think Josh Giddey is gonna be a boom. He's a big dude. I think he's listed at like 6'7" or 6'8", but I think he may be bigger than that. And he moves very well. Moves very well for as big as he is. He can shoot the ball. He can pass. He can rebound. He's a hustle player on defense. I mean, obviously, like Bryce said, they all of his weaknesses were basically the game of basketball. But I mean, in the preseason, he's consistently been able to hit the 3. He's made a few like where you can see he's got that pass IQ. Made a few good passes.
Oh yeah.
He's
I
a
seen some
big
behind the
dude.
bags.
Yeah, he's a big dude, so he can rebound, and I think he's just going to fit in that Oklahoma City role perfect because Shai's the main dude. There's not a lot of pressure on him to score or create, so I think he's just going to eat that up, and I think he's going to be a good player in this league.
I think he can be a better version of Poco. You know, Poco last year, dude, I never even heard of him. You know, and he had a good season. So
Yeah.
I think he can be a better version of him.
Yeah, for sure.
I think over here in America, we just have issues scouting foreign players, you know. Nobody liked when Luca was drafted. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nobody.
nobody liked. I mean, I know Kristaps hasn't been very good, but I mean, Knicks fans booed when Porzingis was drafted. So in America, we just don't like when it's
Yeah.
just we don't. I guess we don't get their game, and we don't get enough of it to watch. Probably, especially the fans. Obviously, scouts have as much to watch as they can
Yeah,
possibly
anyone
get,
else.
but just fans have issues with foreign players. And recently, I mean, up until, you know, Luca, foreign players had had a really bad rap with Darko
Mhm.
and, you know, all of those kinds of players. But man, Luca's one of the best in the league. And maybe Josh Giddey, you know, becomes that type of player for the Thunder. Our last
Yeah.
guy in this boomer
I was
bust.
gonna hit on. I was gonna hit
Oh,
on.
yeah,
the
go
Giddey
ahead,
thing.
go ahead.
One more too. Yeah, and coming from the NBL, like we see my boy, me and Ross's boy, my favorite
LaMelo.
player in the league, favorite player of all time, LaMelo Ball. I mean, you see what he did in the NBL, and Josh Giddey kind of did a similar. I mean, didn't score as good as didn't have the scoring averages that LaMelo had, but I mean, he definitely put up good numbers in the NBL, and I think the NBL is a very competitive league. So I was gonna throw that out there. I mean, we saw what LaMelo did in his rookie year, so I think Josh Giddey definitely is gonna be a good player.
Yeah, that last player I was talking about was Jonathan Kuminga from where was he? Also the G League Ignite, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
played
yeah,
on the same
sure.
team.
And
That's Jalen.
goes to the Warriors, 7th overall, and has possibly the greatest nickname in the history of basketball already. They are calling him the Cum Bucket.
Boss move.
So
I'm already a
based
fan.
solely off of his nickname, the Cum Bucket, he is a boom. He is the biggest boom in the history of booms.
Facts.
Also, on a serious note, he is the youngest player in this draft. I think he just turned 19 years old. He is extremely young, extremely talented. I mean, but raw. He's talented, but he's raw. And I think going to Golden State is going to be probably the best thing for him. You know, getting developed alongside Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins. You know, James Wiseman's still there. I mean, I think the Warriors have a chance to be really
Yeah.
good. And I think that development team with Steve Kerr and all them guys, I think they're going to make Jonathan Kuminga, the cum bucket, a very good player.
Yeah, for sure. I would just agree with you there. I'm gonna go boom. Like I was saying with the Giddey situation, he's a very big dude. He's a pretty big dude. I think like 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, long and
Handles-
lanky.
Yeah, handles the ball well, good athlete, plays good defense. He can pass. I mean, he can do it all. I mean, like still very raw. And the situation he's in, like I said with Giddey, I mean, he's coming in and he's Golden State. Like there's still some dogs on that team, so there's no hurry for him to develop. So I definitely think he's going to be a very good player, and they're going to develop him. I think it'll be a few years down the road, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, we'll start to see him hit his stride. But I think he's going to be a very good player, very high ceiling too. I think probably second highest ceiling in the draft behind Jalen Green.
I'm gonna have to disagree with y'all, to be honest. I get your point, Bri, with having the players around him, but I think he's gonna get overlooked on that roster. I don't think he's gonna get a lot of playing time. I think with Wiseman and Green, and I just don't think he'll be a scoring option. And I think he's really just athletic. I think that's his biggest strength. He's not a great shooter. He can't handle the rock very well. I'm not a huge fan of his game. I think he's a pure athlete, but if the Warriors can develop him, then I think he'll be a great player. But I think his athletic is his ability is his biggest strength, and I'm not a huge fan.
But if you think about it, that's what the Warriors need. That athlete is the perfect. I mean, it's the perfect thing. That's why they brought in a guy like Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins really isn't much more than an athlete, but I think Kuminga can be developed by them, be a great player. Next, we're going to go from boom or bust into our early MVP predictions. And I'll go ahead and go first. I am a Celtics fan. This is probably going to be considered a homer pick. I got Jason Tatum winning the league MVP.
Bad pick.
Terrible pick. Awful
Bad
pick.
pick.
Jason Tatum
not
winning
like
the
that
league MVP.
pick.
No,
Negative.
definitely not.
Who y'all got?
Hey, LaMelo Ball. No, I'm kidding. I'm not Brissy. I'm not gonna pick the fan favorite or my favorite, but I'm gonna go with Luca. I mean, like what he did last year was a testament. I think they're gonna be better. Get a year under his belt with that group with K Porzy. I mean, I think Luca's just. I mean, I think anyone would agree that he's definitely gonna be in MVP talks for sure, and he's my favorite.
Who you got, Ross?
My favorite is definitely not a homer pick. I got Trey winning it. Trey Young. Trey having a great playoff run last year. I know they got beat, but they looked impressive. And he's got talent around him. I think he'll be able to get his assist number up, but I think he'll dominate like he can. I mean, the dude shoots 35 footers. He can get a shot off. He's small, but today's age of basketball, the dude can shoot step back 35 footers. I mean, he's just a great scorer, and he's got Kevin Huerter and John Collins and Clint Capella. I think he'll be. He's got Kevin.
He got Kevin.
One of our fan favorites as well. One of our favorites. But I think Trey will win MVP.
I like that. I do.
Too.
I like both of those. Those two, Luka and Trey, were involved in probably one of the greatest draft day trades in history. And
on both
Jason
sides.
Tatum also a part of a draft day trade with Markelle Fultz, probably one of the most lopsided draft day trades in the history of the NBA.
You hate to see it.
Markelle Fultz is actually making something of himself in Orlando.
Yeah, he is.
Just wait.
Yeah.
He's on the come
He's
up.
getting a shot back. He's getting a shot back.
But that being said, we're going to go into our finals predictions as well. And I've got the MVP of the league leading his team, the Boston Celtics,
Terrible.
to the NBA
Awful
Finals against the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh,
Not the
wow.
Lakers.
Disrespectful. They're not making a pass. Neither team making a pass first round.
I got Celtics, Clippers.
I like
Book
it. I like it on the West, not on the East. I'm gonna go with in the West. Interesting here. The Golden State Warriors. I mean, Steph is a dog. Clay's back. James Wiseman's back after the injury. Draymond's still Draymond. He's unselfish. He makes game-winning plays. You got Moses Moody, who can already score. Yeah, he can score. He can already score very well. Kuminga, I think, is going to bring a lot. And Andrew Wiggins played very good down the stretch. So I think they're going to be a very, very hard team to beat in the West. I mean, Steph Curry alone makes them a very hard team to beat in the West.
Who you got
they're my favorite in the West. Coming out of the East, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the 8'11" power forward. That's what I got coming out of the East. I got Acumpo, definitely. I mean, I think the Bucks are just Acumpo's unstoppable, and he's like hitting threes. I don't know if y'all seen him preseason.
Yeah, his shot looks good.
He's just dribbling, pulling up, but like 23 seconds left on the shot clock. So if he can add that to his game, they're gonna be super, super hard to beat.
Ross, what you got? You got Acumpo?
No, I don't got Acumpo, but I'm gonna start in the West. I'm gonna go with Bryce Crosstown rivalry. My team, homer pick. Lakers, go Lake Show. I got the Lakers. I think LeBron will lead this team 360, 360, 80, Russ. I think Russ this year, and a lot of people have been saying it, boom or bust. He's going to be a boom. The dude's going to go off in his hometown.
Negative.
You
I don't
disagree,
like that.
Jay?
I disagree.
Yeah,
I don't like that Lakers team. I mean, they have everyone. I didn't realize they have DeAndre Jordan too. Like, who do they not
and
have?
We just signed Avery Bradley today, actually, too, as well.
I mean, they have one, but I just don't think they're gonna mesh. I just don't. I don't think they're gonna mesh. I know everyone's saying that, and like I'm gonna kind of jump on the bandwagon. I just don't think they are. I don't think they're gonna.
They are. No, they are. They're gonna be in the finals. You can bet on it. But my East, coming out of the East, very interesting here. I know y'all are gonna be questionable on this. I got.
If you say the Knicks, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
I got Lonzo Ball and the Bulls.
I'm the one who made Lonzo.
You still deserve to be punched in the face.
Triple B's.
Triple B, the big baller way, baby.
Yeah, I think Lonzo, Alex Caruso, and I think DeMar DeRozan will have a great year.
Don't forget about the Russian, Vucevic.
No, Vucevic is a great player.
Is a dog.
No, dog. But I think DeRozan will have a great season comparable to the ones in Toronto. And then you got Kobe White, Patrick Williams. I think they're pretty deep, and I think
they're very deep.
I think they're a great young team with mixing some veterans with Vooch and DeMar, but I think I had to throw them in there. I think they'll make it.
I think they're going to be must-watch TV too. I mean, that's New Lob City. Like all those dudes can fly, and then you got Lonzo at the helm who just sees everything. I think they're going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Who did they get a high round pick this year? Do they have a
I felt like
draft
they
pick?
did, but maybe
I'm trying to look it up right now on the fly, but I don't see anything. For
I don't
some
think
reason
they
I
did.
thought they did.
I don't
but
think they did.
They must not have.
I think it's maybe Patrick Williams last year. Maybe that
Yeah.
was-
I mean, and Zach LaVine still plays there.
Oh crap!
Zach LaVine is a dog.
He's their best player. We
He's their
just
best
forgot the
player.
best
Yeah, we
player.
just forgot to
Dog.
mention him. I mean, yeah, I like that pick, Ross. I like that pick a lot.
I
for
don't
sure.
like it. I don't like
Well,
it at all.
You can't. You literally
they-
expect Celtics. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
getting beat. Your
Hot
both
take.
teams are getting.
Hot
You
take.
got a
first
dude
round.
rocking 71 on your team.
Yeah, you
A
got Dennis
guard
Schroeder.
rocking 71.
That's a boss move.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
I got a hot take. Bulls don't make the playoffs. How about that?
Oh, come
Write
on
it. Mark
now.
it down. Mark it. Let's make a
Yeah,
little bet
mark
right
it down.
here.
We'll come back to
Right
this.
here on the
Dave.
I'm
We'll
putting
come
that on the
back to
record. I'm putting
Put
that
it
in the
in the
legal
record. Put it
record.
right now on the record.
Bulls do not make the playoffs.
Wow, very interesting take right
Us.
there. Okay, we'll double this. I got the Celtics not making the playoffs. How about we bet on that?
How about that? Water bet.
Let's do it.
Boss, I respect it. I respect it.
All right,
I'm
guys.
with Ross
that's-
on this though.
You got
I
the
like it.
okay. Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
Go Bulls.
That's all
I'm the
we've
one that made a
got.
lot, though.
So I'm gonna go ahead and promote here. Go follow. We've got another social to add on top of what we've been having. We created an Instagram page this week. It is @_below_average brothers. Haven't got any content up there. We're working on getting some video put out to put there and on TikTok. So go follow us on Instagram. Once again, TikTok @below_average brothers, Twitter @below_av_brothers, BELOWAV brothers. Go follow us all those places. We've got a Facebook page as well, just Below Average Brothers. I put out a lot of stuff. I'm going to start putting out our graphics for game picks, all of that stuff. I'm going to start putting out picks for you guys to make your picks and post on Facebook. See if you can beat us. See how y'all do against our picks. I think that'll be really fun for our listeners. And once again, go listen to, it's a family show. Go listen to Maddie McGuire, What Girls Are For. And that is it from us. And good night, everybody.
All right, bye.
Nair, bye.